Hey, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to Mentor Monday. Mentor Monday is your weekly microdose of encouragement, inspiration, and miracle grow on your potential as a coach. Hey, as you're getting in the room, do us a huge favor. Let us know that you're here. Also, let us know if the audio is fine this week. We finally got things fixed, I think, and I think that we're back in business, but you never can be 100% certain. Even though you run all your tests, you go live and you go through restream in this case. And so sometimes things don't play out like you wish that they would. So let us know that you are in the room. Tell us where you're joining us from, what you're excited about, what you feel life and momentum on in your life. And also do us a huge favor and like this post and share it, because it tells Facebook and it tells YouTube that we're doing a good job. And for whatever reason, we're having a little bit of trouble. I'm going to take just 1 second. We're having a little bit of trouble getting our email out where we want it to go. So give me 1 second, and I'm going to try to fix this thing. And then if it does, then we'll be all good. Okay, cool. All right. So I'm hitting that little button, and hopefully that will fix everything, and then we will be in business. So, what have we been talking about the last couple of weeks? Well, we've been talking about online courses. And what I started with just a couple of weeks ago is really my argument or my encouragement or my persuasion for you to start at least looking at online courses as an additional stream of income. Now, if you've been with me any length of time, you know that I don't believe that coaches should only be offering one-on-one services to their clients. And there's a really good reason why. For one, because it's going to limit your ability to be able to help people. And so, since it's going to limit your ability to help people, how is it going to limit? Well, there's only one of you. You only have so many hours a week. So, you know what that's going to do? You're going to level off. There's only going to be so many people that you can help. Also, it's going to level you off in income, because when you only offer one-on-one, really what you're doing is that you're trading your time for money. And that's all you have is, let's say you had 40 hours a week, which most of you are not starting out like that. Most of you are working full-time jobs already, and you're trying to get your coaching practice going on the side, and you're trying to create an additional stream of income to what you have right now, with maybe the hope and the dream of going full-time as a coach. And so what we've got to learn to do is that we've got to learn to maximize our time and help as many people as we can right now. And online courses is one of those really easy ways to do it, because once you create it, then you can use it multiple times. And the online course itself is doing most of the work for you, because it's not requiring you to be live all the time. Matter of fact, the way that you can set it up is that someone can access the material on their own time, on their own schedule, and you can add live elements if you want to just try to add some bonuses to the course itself. So let me say hello to a couple of people. There's Paul from Texas. How's it going, Paul? Hey, if you guys would, let me know. It looks like some people were slow to get the email. It was taking a little bit of time to get out to everybody. And so I think we sent an extra email out to make sure that people got it. But do me a huge favor. Let us know that you are here. Say hello. Tell us what you're dreaming about, what you're passionate about, what you're most excited about in life right now. And also do us a huge favor. Like this post and share it. It tells Facebook and YouTube that we're doing a good job. Sandy's joining us from New Jersey. How's it going, Sandy? Again, if you guys would do me a huge favor, again, jump in there and let us know that you are here. It's the only way that I can know that you're here. I'm all the way out here in California, and I can't see you, but I would love to see you. And I hope all the moms had a great Mother's Day this weekend. I know we had a great one with my family. It was a lot of fun. So we're going to finish up this little mini series that we've done. We're on week 4. I'm going to encourage you, if this is the first week that you are seeing this, go back in time and revisit the other ones that we talked about. Gave you the numbers about what does it look like in terms of the exponential increase that could actually be happening in your coaching practice. Also, what online courses does to actually build a bridge for one-on-one clients or more high-end clients or people who are going to be paying a premium for your service. But with an online course, what you're able to do is offer something that you give them that helps them solve a solution, but usually it's a little bit more reasonably priced than if somebody was going to be working with you one-on-one or something like that. And so there's all of these, in last week, we looked a little bit more in detail about what would you add to actually add value and how do you actually market and do great messaging behind your online course to make it attractive to people, to make it irresistible. This week we're talking about, well, this is going to be a little bit more workshoppy. We're going to be talking about how to outline online courses for your coaching clients. And so what I want to do this week is I'm going to pull the whiteboard out, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a few different examples of how you can outline your online course. And with the hopes of, what did I say last week, is that anything that we're doing in any kind of outlining, obviously what we're trying to do is that we're trying to make it more attractive to your ideal clients so that, it's a no-brainer when it comes to actually selling it. Now, what I'm going to do, if I can find it, I'm going to bring you back in time with something that I was showing you last week. Well, I said that I was, but I don't actually. I thought I put it right here. I'm going to walk off set for just a second and try to figure out where I put this thing. And, well, it looks like somebody, probably me, put it backstage. So what I want you to think about, because I used this book last week as kind of an example of what writers do, best-selling authors do, but especially in the self-help world, what they will do to try to make what they are selling attractive. Because in everything that they're putting together, I actually showed you also inside of the table of contents that the table of contents is also all about messaging. That anything that's written in here is to look really attractive and hopefully connect with what your problem is so that you can see that, oh, they're still talking my language, and what they're essentially doing is that they're still still selling to you inside of the table of contents. So here's one of the things that you will find with all self-help books, and I'm going to take a gulp really quick. Forgive me. In all self-help books and all self-help programs, what you will find is that they're kind of constructed all the same way. What they really start with is kind of a little bit of teaching, a little bit of a narrative, a little bit of a story, but there's a teaching that is connected inside there. In all of them, what do they end with? Well, once you get to the end, and I'll show you what's in at the end of this, is the way that she constructed it is things that helped me. And she made a really simple version because obviously this is not supposed to be therapy, and it's not treatment, and it's not replacing treatment or any of those other things. But this book's a sum total of 217 pages, which is a really short read, pretty big print, not a lot of words and everything else. So what I'm showing you in this is that in the self-help world, what we really have is, because this is what you're going to have to think of your online course as being kind of a self-help kind of thing. Even though you're going to be a part of it, and maybe there's going to be a group of people that you have an interaction with in this thing, what a lot of online courses really are is it's self-instruction, it's self-directed. So what you're doing is that you're putting material out there that they're going to be accessing themselves, and they're not going to be so dependent on you. Really, what the course shell is going to do is it's going to facilitate it for you, but you've got to think of the material that you want to put out there that's really going to serve them well. So what we're going to do is I am going to, well, let me say hi to a couple of people really quick that are saying hello to me really quick. There's Angie from Chicago. Hey, Angie. And who else do I need to say hello to? Marina, what book is that again? Oh, it's called Girl Wash Your Face, but you can use any of them. But it was one that I was talking about last week. I'm not trying to sell or even recommend that book. It's just a bestseller. So they've shown us some things that actually work. So cool. All right. I think I said hello to who I needed to say hello to. Let me pull the whiteboard up. On the whiteboard, and let me see. Whoa, my whiteboard's disappeared. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick. On the whiteboard, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what does it look like to actually outline. And I'm going to give you a few different versions to show you how really easy it is. But let's start with this. First off, remember this. This is really important for you to get here. Remember that the value does not come as a result of having a ton of content. And a lot of people, a lot of coaches who are trying to put an online course together end up being in, well, too much information, analysis, the paralysis of analysis. They've got so much information and they've got it in all kinds of different places. They don't even know what to do with it. And so you might be sitting there like, well, where do I start and where does it end? And now I think that they need this, and maybe they're going to have this question. Here's the thing. When people start out with an online course, they are babies. You get in, and I'm not saying that as a knock. I'm saying they're babies. They're taking their first steps when it comes to confronting this problem in most cases. And so if you think about it in that way, somebody's trying to take their first steps. I'm not trying to get them to run sprints. I'm not trying to get them trained for the Olympics. They're not ready for that. This is entry level. Now, this is getting them prepared and it's getting them ready for where they're going to go on this journey. But see, this is, if you can go back in time to the giants that you've overcome in your life, the dragons that you have slain, I want you to think about those things because it's the first battles that you took out. This is where these people are. They're not in the battles that you were in after 10 or 15 years of working on this thing. And now you're going to try to get everything else. And you know what ends up happening? Well, this is what ends up happening. Because what ends up happening is that the people end up being overwhelmed and they give up before they ever even start. And when I say that is that they're going to look at the material and they're going to be like, this looks like a part-time job to work on this thing. And I don't have time for this. And so it's going to be overwhelming. And you know why? When you see a bunch of information, you think, oh, this is going to make them think that this is extraordinarily valuable. But when they see a lot of information, when they see a lot of content, the only thing that they're thinking about is that I've got this problem that I want to resolve. I want to overcome. I want to transform my life in this particular area. But if you give them a ton of content, what they're going to say is, man, I just don't think that I can do it. I had some hope that I could get some transformation in my life, but you're telling me that it's like 50 different things and 50 hours of content that I'm going to have to go through before I can get any change. And you know what? It's going to be overwhelming and it's going to be disheartening to them, and they're going to quit before they ever start. So what we have to think about in this thing is that the value comes from solving the problem as effectively as possible. So what are we really wanting to do here? Well, we're wanting to make this simple. So I want you to think about not trying to solve world hunger, okay? We're not trying to solve a problem that big. Let's solve smaller problems that are painful. They have great pain points about them. It's a high quality problem, so someone wants to actually buy it. But listen, we can't give them like 75 things to do in this. We need to make it simpler. And so if you're thinking, oh, I've got to research this and now I've got to go take this class and everything else, that's overkill. You probably already, because this is why a couple of weeks ago I was like, hey, go back in time and start doing your research and start thinking about how you got to where you are today. What were the resources? What were the things that helped you and everything else? Listen, I know that some of you have been on a great marathon and you've been on like a Tough Mudder event. You ever see those things where they're like running through all of this stuff? I know some of you have been through that. We're not expecting those people to go through this yet. We're just at the very beginning. So as you're looking at it, plan in that way. Now, second thing, your value doesn't come from the result of having a ton of content, but what I want you to do is to start with the outcome that you want for your client. And let me give you a little hint in this. This is the problem they want to solve. So every time you put any kind of a course together, it's got to be outcome-based. So when I say outcome-based, what would you want their life to look like afterwards? Where are they at right now? Because they've got a problem. How would their life look like? What would their life look like after they complete the course. I want you to think like that. So that what you're trying to do is that you know where they are right now, but you need to begin with the end in mind and then work backward from the end, because everything that you plan inside of the course is going to be with that destination in mind. So, let me add a couple of more things to that. Break it down into 3 or 4 steps. I kind of talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Again, what if you break it down into 3 or 4 steps and not 8 steps or 10 steps or 20 steps or whatever, you're going to increase the likelihood that someone would actually buy it. If you try to give them more than 4 steps, again, that's going to be one of those things that's going to overwhelm them. Think about any product or service that you want to find a solution. You want it to solve the problem quickly and effectively, not 30 different steps to get something done. You're trying to figure out, you want a YouTube video think of your YouTube videos. If you're trying to figure out a how-to on something, you're looking for a YouTube video that's really about 3 minutes long. You're not looking for one that's 47 minutes long to try to fix something. You're like, how many steps? And you'll find that people are at a certain point are wasting a lot of time talking instead of cutting to the chase. And that's what you're going to have to do. So even the videos, if you put videos together for this course, are not going to be super long. 30 minutes max, and that's on the heavy end. Probably the sweet spot's going to be somewhere between 10 to 12 to 15 minutes if you actually put a video together for this. So what that means is that if you do this in 3 or 4 steps, you're talking about an hour of content, something like that. And you could do 2 hours of content, but what's 2 hours of content? Well, that means that's 4 30-minute sessions is 2 hours of content. That's plenty, because you're going to add some other kinds of little things in there that they're going to be doing their work on. A couple of other things. Break it down into 3 to 4 steps. Choose the types of content to create that can help them achieve their solution. So what I mean by that is you've got to ask some questions like these questions right here. Does your ideal client value participation? You should know. Some people just want self-service. They may not want to participate with you or with a group or anything else. It's good to do your homework on your people, your ideal client, and know that question. Is your ideal client busy and have limited time? And so since they do, then that means that you've got to plan your content in your course, realizing that they don't have 10 hours a week to give to it. They may not have 5 hours a week to give to it. They may not have more than 1 to 2 hours. So again, what that means is that you're going to narrow your content down, and you're going to come up with stuff that can get a lot of change in a short amount of time. That's what we're really after here. Again, we're not solving world hunger here. This is a person who wants breakthrough, and they have a limited amount of time. And so we just got to be very effective, economize on words, and economize on what we're actually expecting them to do inside of. And so again, I want some of you to lower your expectations a little bit of what you expect that client to do when they're inside of your online course. Okay. I think sometimes people do overkill because they're like, they need this, they need this, they need this. And like, for what reason? What we want to do is that we want to honor the fact that people are really busy working 40 hours a week. They've got extraordinarily busy lives. And so what we've got to do is that we've got to plan content, not with a low expectation of them, but realizing all the constraints that they have in life and giving them tools that are powerful and effective that don't take over their life. They're going to have an opportunity in the future with you to, invest more time, invest more money, but they're not there yet. So can we give them some things that are maybe 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, or something like that? If you're going to give them activities to do during the week, if you're going to have a daily thing, but maybe they can only get to it a couple of times a week. See, the more that you stack up, the more likely that they are going to, well, you know what? They're probably going to not finish or get behind or something like that. Know this, that you can always add a Q&A. You can always add bonus information if you feel like they need a little bit more, or if they're asking for more, you can always add that stuff in real time. A couple of other things before we look at what the outline looks like. How does your ideal client process information? That means to think, do they like video? Do they like audio? Do they like podcasts? I don't know. What kinds of content would your ideal client find valuable? I want you to think about all of those things. Let me jump over here really quick and let me say hello just to a couple more people. Um, there is Kel in Reno. Hello. Um, and Diane in South Carolina. How's it going, Diane? Okay, cool. All right, we're back over here. Let's look at our board. Let me get rid of this. Now, here's what we want to think about. What types of content that you might add to your online course? And so when we're looking at this, what I want you to think about, two things. You want to think about what does your ideal client want in terms of content, but the other thing is that I want you to think inside of your wheelhouse. Might stretch you a little bit, but what we've got to think about is that we got to think about creating things that can that is actually within our wheelhouse to do, or that we have a friend or we have some kind of a person who can kind of support us and help us knock out a couple of these things. Don't overwhelm yourself. I'm just giving you some ideas of what kinds of content that you can do. Now, again, when it comes to videos, I really wouldn't make, I would say, max, 30 minutes, but your sweet spot's probably going to be 10 to 15 minutes if you were actually able to create it. And you have it on a platform in some kind of a way. So what are we really talking about? We're really talking about self-service. And what you're doing in that, much like, what did I say? Much like you would in a self-help book, is that there's going to be a teaching or a story component. Because what do we need to know? We need to know what the problem is, because in many cases, we need to know how to actually solve the problem, which allows us to, we need to know what the problem is and get our fingers wrapped around it so that we can actually solve it. And so what that usually is just a little bit of teaching so that there's understanding. And you know what we do then is a call to action. We tell them what to do. What is their next step when it comes to that? And so really what you might have is you might have a video in each one of the modules if you had that. Again, 4 steps, 4 videos. Now, when it comes to groups, I'd say that pretty much every platform that is online has some kind of a thing called like communities or groups or whatever. But one of the things that you can do is that you could just set up, really simply, you could just set up a Facebook group. And what do you allow people to do? Well, you can allow them to interact. You know why? Because this is going to increase the value of the group. Also, you can allow them to facilitate. It's another way of facilitating what you're doing. Maybe there's a group project. Maybe everyone brings their assignments together, and in this connection inside of the group, you propose questions, or they work on something during the week and you bring everybody together and you ask, you're asking them to, interact with one another. Maybe they have to work with a partner. Maybe they have to work with 2 partners. There's a lot of different ways that you can do groups. So you could do that through a Facebook group, but a lot of times with these platforms, they'll actually have a little community thing. I like Facebook because everybody has it on their phone in most cases already, and they know how to use it. So what you could do is you could have a video, you could have a group, because in many cases that actually adds value to them. Another thing that you could do is a Q&A, and this could be the live element that you add. And maybe it's weekly, but maybe it's only one time. I don't know. And what people are able to do is to ask the questions that you didn't cover. And again, what does this allow you to do? It allows you to connect at a high level with who those people are. Because when they get you live, that increases the value of what you're offering. A couple of other things that you can do. Feedback, that means that people are able to ask questions. They're able to connect in the way of talking about what the material is doing for them. And so think of this as kind of like you can say that can be kind of a think tank It can be a brainstorming or whatever, but how that might be another thing that you offer feedback on there. Another thing, and I don't like the word assignments, but it's the only one that I've got for this. Basically, people need to be willing to do the work. And so if people are going to get transformation in their life, that means they can't just watch a video and do nothing about it. At the end of every self-help book, there'll usually be some kind of an assessment. There's going to be questions. There's going to be something like that. What you would do, my recommendation would be have a video, but then there's going to be an assignment. Here's what you're going to work on this week. Answer these questions, work on this, utilize this tool, whatever. And so when you do the work and you pair it with a group, now you've got accountability. If you create an interactive space for people to connect in Facebook or something like that, and they're doing the work because they've got to put it into action, because this is what this is about. You can't just listen and expect any change to happen in your life. Where's your accountability going to come from? Allow the group of students or clients who are taking the course to be that other measure of accountability, and allow that to be facilitated in that way. Another thing that you can add is some kind of a coaching tool. There can be multiple ones, tools that maybe you've created, tools that you like or whatever. That can be an additional thing that you add in each one of these. Surveys is another way just to get what? It's to be able to get feedback. It's also to see results as people are going along. Where did they start in the very beginning? Where did they end up? And so you can start tracking that. You know what happens when you're getting feedback anyway? You can find out the clients that are struggling inside of the course, and you can give them a little bit more attention or a little bit more encouragement or a little bit more motivation. Having this in terms of a group of accountability helps people continue along with that as well. Bonuses can be anything. Bonuses can be downloads, uh, They can be tools. They can be infographics. Um, they can be journals. I mean, there can be a lot of different little things. It can be an ebook, whatever. Bonuses are just another way to really bring up the value of what you're doing inside of the course. And so let me show you then what an outline might look like. So a course outline, again, we're only talking about 4 steps, 4 modules. This is going to be a really simple course. And so we just want to think, how do I bring this person through to their solution in 4 steps? And also, what am I going to do to give people connection? And then down here, I'm saying, here's what my bonuses are. So it might be, as I'm doing this, that I might say, oh, you know what I'm going to do is that I am going to do a video in each one of these courses, or each one of these modules. So as I'm planning it out, what I'm going to do is, well, here's a video here. I'm going to make this video based, and there's a video there, and there's a video there. And you know what? Later I'll end up adding it together in terms of, what is this video going to be about? What is this video going to be about? And then 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the way that I'll do it. And I might decide what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an accountability structure inside of the group. And I'm going to make this, even though they're going to be watching videos, every week after they watch the video, I'm going to say by Wednesday, every week, that the group is going to be connecting via Facebook. And what I'm also going to do is that I'm going to have a bonus Q&A every 2 weeks. So in week 2, they're going to get a Q&A. And then in week 4, they're going to get a Q&A as a wrap it up. But I don't want to be tied down to this thing more than that. What I'm going to allow it to do is that the group really works on everything together. And then obviously I'm going to have an assignment built in that they're going to be doing the work each time, and it's going to build on one another, and they're going to check in with the people in their group, and if they want to partner or whatever. And so what I've really got in this entire thing is my entire course right here. Then I can also down here, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. How did I move the entire thing? Let me put that. How did I not have that locked in place? What is going on, Paul? Let me lock that in place. So what I'm going to do then is that at the bottom, then I'm going to say interactivity is going to be, I am going to have a little feedback tool for people to be able to get in touch so that I can, and I'm also going to track progress through the course. And then over here as a freebie, I'm going to say, well, I'm just going to have this download of, because I've already decided the whole course is going to be on procrastination, and it's going to be 5 steps to procrastination breakthrough or something like that. And that's how you do it. Any of you can do this. 4-module course, 4 steps, and any of you can do this. Now, let me say this about video. You don't have to go crazy with video. Listen, if you've got a phone, I don't even have my phone on me right now. If you have a phone, if you have an iPhone, you have a phone that's been made in the last 5 years, you're probably looking at a phone that at least has HD. And the camera is probably sufficient as well. You just need to get somewhere where it's quiet. I never want to hear excuses about a lack of technology because it's not like it was back in the day. The phones are so much better. They're better than cameras. And so when I was initially doing some stuff, you wouldn't believe the effort that I was going. I literally had a pantry in my house, and it was the only. And then I would sometimes would get in the closet whenever I was trying to record things or whatever, because the only way that I could get away from my kids and there could be enough quiet that could absorb the sound. So know this: if you've got a closet, that's all you need. You don't even necessarily need video of your face. Maybe you do it and you've got slides that you're moving people through, and it's just your voice. You don't need anything crazy. Headset mic, you can get one for about $30. And you can sit in your closet if that's what you need, because what does it do? It absorbs all the sound. Just try to do it in a time when you don't have people coming in and out of the room or a bunch of ambient noise or whatever. If you can get a headset mic that's naturally kind of noise canceling, that's all you need. That and a computer, if you can go on Canva or you can go on Google Slides, which is free, make your slides and you can do the timing. You can export it as a video right there. If you're fine with people, you don't need more than your head. You don't need fancy things. When we started out, even Life Coach Training Institute, I didn't have a whole lot of fancy stuff that was going on. We've built these things along the way. You don't need all this stuff. This doesn't give you any more credibility, and your people don't really care about it. So you don't need all of this fancy stuff. You can literally have a video of yourself if you want to do that. Get a nice little white backdrop, gray backdrop behind you. Go for it. Edit it in a simple program like Camtasia or iMovie if you're a Mac user or whatever. There's a lot of free products that are out there. You don't need even major editing. You don't need transition stuff. You don't need music stuff or anything else. Just a basic clean audio track on video. And you can do, and if you want to do captions on it, you can do that, but it's not anything that you've got to do anything crazy. People don't have an expectation of a Hollywood production. They want to work with you and they want what you have to offer. So, don't go crazy on it spending you 6 months to make some videos. Make simple videos, clean them up. They're 10 to 12 minutes long, 30 minutes on the longest end. And put the bulk of your work in making the interactivity with the groups amazing, and also creating assignments that's really going to help them get breakthrough. Obviously, you've got tools like Zoom. So whenever you want to do the Q&As, or if you decide to do anything live, you could also go live even to the Facebook group itself if you wanted to do that. That's another alternative that's in there. But I do like the idea of interactivity if that is what is actually valuable to your ideal client. But again, there's more types of content than this. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what you could do. But you could do half of these things, or you could do all of these things if you wanted to do it. But it's all really up to you. What do we want to? What's it all about? It's not about having 10 different types of content in each one of these. It's about them getting simple breakthrough fixes in their life that nurtures a relationship with you, that helps them get help and see you in a different light, so that when you're selling something that's even more expensive or whatever, this is the taste that they were left in their mouth is, wow, Kelly was great. She really helped me with that. Sandy, She was amazing at this, and that was really, really helpful. I want to see what else she's got. Maybe I can work with her one-on-one. I've seen how she's been able to help me in this way. Maybe I join her group coaching in the next thing that she offers. But this is the way that you do it. And again, don't get overwhelmed by this. Keep it simple. Keep it as simple as you possibly can and then build from there. But this is what we do, and this is how we do it. Let me pay the bills, and then I'm going to go to some questions really quick, okay? So, if you have not gotten trained and certified as a coach, here's the best offer really that we have. Our Jumpstart program includes the life coach certification course. So you do get trained and certified, but it also includes all of the things that you need for an A to Z business development roadmap. What I showed you tonight, we have one course that's just called the Coaching Product Launch Blueprint that we walk you, taking you by the hand in the steps of literally going from brainstorming to creating any kind of coaching product that you want. Whether that be an online course, a webinar, or any of those things, we show you how to do it. So let me just recap again what's included. The Life Coach Certification course, which is actually included inside of Jumpstart, has live Tuesday training. Now, these rolling sessions are all available on demand at your fingertips. You can set your own schedule. But what we started a couple of months ago is our live Tuesday training. And we go through each one of these modules in rolling sessions, and all of them include live Q&As, but also include coaching demos so that you can actually practice coaching and you can see what coaching looks like, and you can actually get feedback on sessions inside the Life Coach Certification course. Jumpstart also includes our live coaching boot camp. The next one is going to be May 26th through the 28th. What are we doing in boot camp? Well, we are going through the entire life coach certification course in a weekend. It's like drinking from a fire hose, but it's amazing. So we start on Friday, we go all day Saturday, all day Sunday. You knock out all of your training in one single weekend. So for some of you who are really double booked and you have very limited time, this is probably your best option to knock out training and certification. Now, this is normally $247, but if you join Jumpstart, which is $97 a month with a 3-month minimum commitment, you get all the business development help, but boot camp is actually included in it. Brand Camp is what we do is walk you through all of the core messaging for your website, for your business. What we do, again, it's a step-by-step on your marketing messaging. So we show you how to design your website, how to develop your website. We give you a wireframe tool. We walk you through every step of branding. And we show you how to write a sales page. We show you how to write an email. All of these things are included inside of Brand Camp. And lastly, we have the Coaching Product Launch Blueprint. And so any idea that you have for serving your ideal client, any kind of problems that you want to help them solve, what we do in 8 sessions, we take you by the hand and we go from zero to launch, brainstorming your idea. And you're going to think about, well, what's the best way for me to deliver this particular product? Is it group coaching? Is it an online course? Is it, any way that, or is it just a workshop or whatever? This is what we do, is that we show you how to deliver that product. What's the best vehicle to deliver that product? And then we give you a 14-day product launch sequence. So we show you, walk you through, how do you do social media posts? How do you do email marketing? All of those things is actually included in here. All of this stuff is a part of the overall program, which is called Jumpstart Your Coaching Practice. It's $97 a month. I've been helping coaches launch their coaching practices ever since 2016. Obviously, we had started Life Coach Training Institute some time before that, but we didn't want to be a single dimensional school. So you really have no excuses here. For $97 a month. Now, listen, I know you guys have looked at other programs out there and they cost thousands of dollars, and you usually just walk away with a certificate and no way of knowing if you're ever going to be successful or any idea of how to get clients. We walk you through the steps. We have a group coaching call every Wednesday. So again, you're not by yourself. You can connect with other coaches who are trying to get their coaching practice started, or maybe they're just a few months ahead of you or something like that. It's an incredibly supportive, brilliant group of people. And so really we've thought through all of those things: training, certification, your business development steps that actually work as well as a community of coaches who understand what you're doing. There's accountability that's there, but there's also support and celebration so that you don't have to do this thing alone. So let me say hello to a couple of more people who are saying hello to me. Um, Sandy says, can you use a podcast as a video? You can. So what you can do is that you can take that audio, and basically what you would do, there's a couple of different ways of doing it. If you have PowerPoint, you can just embed that audio inside of the PowerPoint and create slides. And basically what they call it is narration. You can do timing throughout the slides as you're with the audio that you have from the podcast. So that's one of the ways that you can actually do it. Obviously, there are some people who will just put MP3s on their as the module so that people are actually just listening to the MP3s. So that's another option as well. If you don't want to make a video, obviously, and again, it's all about the value that your ideal client sees in it. And some people like to just listen to audio in their car as opposed to watching a video. And so we can actually do that. Sandy says, I facilitate a group from a book on the authentic life. Can I utilize that as a course? Absolutely. Obviously, I don't know much about the book or anything else. As long as you're not running into any kind of, I don't know if it's your own book. If it's somebody else's, then you'll probably just have to ask permission, to be able to facilitate a course that's around a book. If it's published by someone else, that's not a hard thing to do. And so you can always ask permission to see if you can actually put it together, unless it's your own book, which more power to you. You go do that thing. Cool. All right, everyone. Well, listen, I had an amazing time with you. I hope this was really helpful. If this was the first week that you've looked at this about online courses, then what I want you to do is I want you to go back in time and watch those videos to see how we built and got to where we are today. You can absolutely do this thing. Highly encourage you to add this as a stream of income. There's a link inside the description. I want you to make a move on this thing. If you've not gotten trained and certified as a coach, or you're a coach and you don't know what your business development steps, it is very low risk to take part in an extraordinary program that we have to offer, which is Jumpstart Your Coaching Practice. All of this that I showed you, training, certification, the A to Z business development roadmap, and the support where you get Tuesday live training and you get the Wednesday group coaching call. There's nothing that's like it. And so click that link. You can get enrolled in 90 seconds, and I can see you tomorrow night for training. Hey, listen, have a great rest of your week and take care.